Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Village Board meeting for October 10, 2019. At this time, I'd like to ask everybody to please stand for the pledge and then remain standing for a moment of silence for our armed forces serving throughout the world. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Again, welcome everybody to our October 10th meeting. At our last meeting held on September 26th, we accepted with regrets the resignation of Gail Nagel from the position of Planning Board Secretary. We are truly sorry to see Gail leave the Village of Woodbury family. She will be truly missed. Gail has served the Woodbury Planning Board with distinction for 24 years. So it is my pleasure to present Gail with this plaque recognizing her years of service to the people of Woodbury. So Gail, could you please come up here? Let me come out. The plaque says, by the Village of Woodbury Mayor and Board of Trustees in appreciation of your years of dedicated service to the Village of Woodbury Planning Board, 1995 to 2019. Thank you so much.
You get a picture of mine.
That's me. Thank you, guys.
Would anybody else like to take a picture with Gail?
Let's give her a break.
Yeah, I was already falling down. It's
She's
good.
already put her time in. Thank you, Gail.
Oh, look, yeah, you take it.
See if she wants to buy it.
I'll hit her for you.
She's great. She really did. You did a great job.
And again, I just want to reiterate that we are sorry to see Gail leave. So on with the business. Motion to accept the minutes from our meeting held September 26th, 2019.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Jess, could you please read abstract number 9?
Abstract 9 contains vouchers 19-0714 through 19-0797 and totals $272,089.76.
Thank you. Motion to approve abstract number 9.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Fire Department equipment request. Motion to approve equipment request 2019-14 totaling approximately $170 for the purchase of a cylinder of CO2 meter testing, and 2019-15 totaling approximately $270.22 for the purchase of 2 CO2 detection meters, and 2019-16 totaling approximately $925 for the purchase of 2 TV monitors and associated equipment to display it in the dispatch program, displayed at dispatch program in the apparatus bay and radio room.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Fire Department membership. Motion to accept the application from Alex Sanchez as a member of the Highland Mills Fire Company.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
There we go.
Okay, re-levy of previously exempt properties. Motion to adopt the resolution presented to re-levy a prorated tax amount due on properties located at various locations that were previously eligible for the exemption. You just want to read the property names?
SBL 223-1-10.21, 110 Edgewood Drive, Central Valley, 230-8-6, 12 Valley Avenue, Central Valley, 245-1-26, 5 Cambridge Road, Highland Mills.
Thank you.
I'll make the move.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Old business, none. New business, return of a performance bond. Sapphire Construction, motion to return the performance escrow that was posted by Sapphire Construction for 83 Millville Lane, as recommended by Building Inspector Gary Thomasberger.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion to authorize me to sign a one-year maintenance contract with United Air Conditioning at a cost of $7,760. This will be a company that will maintain and service the heating and ventilating system and air conditioning throughout this building.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I just want to respond to something that was said at the town board meeting last week. At the October 3rd town board meeting, Frank Palermo used his political office to do nothing more than a campaign stunt. True to form, Frank presented a litany of false and misleading statements to deflect from the fact that he has wasted approximately $200,000 of taxpayers' money. The statement that was read provided no new information. Rather, it only reiterated the town's version of what transpired. The village court documents tell a different story. That's why it's better to let the courts decide, because they will hear both accounts of the transaction. I look forward to my opportunity to testify at the appropriate time. What makes this more egregious is that Frank most likely used taxpayers' money to have the statement prepared for him. I can't stress enough that this is nothing more than a campaign stunt during an election season. Deputy Supervisor Jackie Hernandez read the statement, and conveniently her husband Ray Hernandez posted it on Facebook. Hashtag political stunt. If the town board and their legal advisors felt that this matter warranted a referral to the New York State Attorney General for investigation, then the real question becomes, why wasn't this done before the town wasted approximately $200,000 of taxpayers' money on a lawsuit against its residents? The answer is campaign stunt to benefit Frank Palermo. The town board statement is slanderous, malicious, and inaccurate spin of the town board's point of view. Simply an attempt to discredit David Sutz, Frank's opponent in the upcoming supervisor's election. Remember, no one benefited or profited from this transaction but the residents of Woodbury. The town statement also implied that Maria Hunter was not reappointed to the planning board because she refused to sign the maps in question. This is nothing more than an opinion of Maria Hunter. Mrs. Hunter was not reappointed to the planning board for many reasons. However, not signing a map never came up in the discussion of her reappointment. As much as I would like to provide a detailed response to each item in their statement, legal counsel has advised otherwise due to the ongoing litigation. On the other side, however, the town has been spinning their one-sided narrative right from the beginning in an attempt to divide our community and discredit potential political challenges. Despite their efforts, it is the court that will evaluate both sides of the dispute and decide whether to uphold or annul the land swap. Before Frank took office as supervisor, the village and town always worked together as a unified team. Once Frank was sworn in, everything became political power play as he worked to extinguish the village/town cooperative relationship. Remember, the supervisor and the town board didn't even bother to dial 4 digits to inquire about resolving their land swap issues before burdening the taxpayers. The town and their legal team opted instead for a lose-lose costly lawsuit against the village of Woodbury and their residents. What I find astonishing is that the good intentions that justified the land swap, which made perfect business sense, resulted in a lawsuit. In closing, I would like the residents to keep these 2 points in mind. There never should have been an issue of contention over the highway department facility. It was a highway department facility paid for by the taxpayers and should have been transferred over to the village along with the highway department in 2014. 2, what is the real motive behind this lawsuit? And is it serving the best interest of the taxpayers? In the end, no matter who wins, the taxpayers lose. Thank you. At this time, I'll have the public comment. Anybody in the first row? Thank you.
You get the first. You get a microphone. Somebody can turn it on.
Oh, hope I don't get dizzy. At my age, I don't need all the sacraments. I hope I don't get. I'm not
Jeff,
used-
can you get a mic for Rob, please? Thank you. Is that
I'm not used to this. I've been a resident here since.
Excuse me a minute, sir. Is that working?
Since 1960, I was a resident
Can we
here.
borrow your mic for a minute? Bring him to-
5 years ago,
Yeah, you need to, sir,
Mr. Wyatt
Excuse me?
happened to see me at
Sir.
his. What's
we're
that?
not ready for you yet. Give us a minute.
Who's not ready?
Yeah, we got mic issues.
Okay, state your name, please.
Boss, are we okay? If I make a mistake, just holler at me. I'm used to being hollered at. 5 years ago,
Please state your name first, for the record.
For the minutes.
my name,
Yes.
Yes,
you know my name, but I will tell it. Joseph Marshall. 5 years ago, Mr. Wyatt happened to see me at Jay's, and he told me he was going to lower the road only in front of my house. Okay. In front of my house. But he didn't tell me that he was going to lower my driveway and remove the, what do you call those things, culverts? He knows more than I do about it. The drain pipe underneath. Okay. And then I asked why. He says, well, my neighbor across the street was getting water on his driveway. So, all right. Then it seemed strange since there's a drainage ditch that runs the entire length of Hickory Street. Entire length drainage, and there's a pipe that takes it away. Well, I didn't say anything. He said he was going to lower my driveway. He lowered my driveway and took out the culvert pipe. The process made my driveway very steep, making low aligned automobiles bottom out. Found out later that a Legion member, where I belong, that he asked this person, what type of guy is he? Is he touchy, easygoing? Well, Mr. Wine asked this before he started doing my driveway. I have lived in this house since 1966. Family's grown up, everybody left. I'm the last one in the house. Worked hard to build that house up and not have it destroyed the way my driveway is. I can't get a car up that driveway, a line car up that driveway. I asked him 100 times to fix it. And what happened? He says, sure. Never came up. Never came up. Numerous times I asked him for the driveway, at least fix my driveway. I don't care about the road now, just fix the driveway, because this is going to cost money for me if I want to sell a house. It's not a selling point with the way he destroyed my driveway. He never brought a low-line car like I asked him to come up the driveway. He never did that. Never did that. I finally went to see him November 2014. This is when it's all started. Well, it started in the summer when they did the road. He started yelling at me because I said I badmouthed him. I didn't badmouth him. I said to him, I told the truth. And he started yelling at me in front of his secretary, Sheila. She's my neighbor, back door. Mr. Wyant did come, but he made the driveway even steeper. He left a steep incline worse than before. I thought the driveway was bad before. It even got worse because I have to take the garbage down and take it up. And with that steep incline, he even cut up 20 feet up my driveway to make it even steeper. 20 feet. I happened to got fed up with that. I called Mr. Caruso. He's also a Legion member and a supervisor at the time. He was very helpful. But Mr. Wine came up but did nothing. It was just the same. So I tried to talk to him again, but it was no thing. So I talked to at the time was Supervisor Mr. Caruso. He did help me. He was a very kind man. And Mr. Wine came up, but he still didn't correct the problem. So, I mean, I can go on. I got pages here, but I don't want to bore any. I showed them the problem with the car bottoming out. I was talking to, at that time, Mr. Queenan and everyone else here, Mr. Wyatt. I said, to fix the car and the road, it was like this. I want the, I'm getting a little tired here. Do I have to stand up or can I talk?
Take a chair, but take the mic with
Take
you.
the mic with you. No, take it out.
Take it out
Take
of
it
there.
out of that.
Take it out.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Numerous times I asked him to fix the driveway. At least fix the driveway so cars can come up. He ignored it. He didn't do anything. He always said yes, but never came. Cars still bottomed out. And I finally went to see him in November when this situation started yelling. Well, after that, I talked to Mr. Caruso. He was supervisor at the time. And he called him to come over, and he did come over. And I thought it was resolved. I even shook hands with him. I don't want to make enemies with anybody. But he seems to have an ego, and he's very persistent that he's always right. Anyway, I said, suggested again, I'm not even going to read anymore, suggested again, put an apron on the driveway, because the driveway is like a V. All he had to do was put the macadam up there and make it level so these cars do not bottom out. It's very common sense. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out, and I'm not even an engineer on driveways. So I'm not going to go to this. I'm getting tired of this stuff here. Tired of fighting 5 years about this. But
Mr. Marshall, why don't you let me wrap this up for you, okay?
what's that?
Why don't you let me wrap this up for you? Because I remember when we tried talking to you, and I don't know, I spoke to one of your sons. Are you the son I spoke to on the phone? But anyway, before I get to this conversation with your son, we wanted to go up there and take a look at it, and we wanted you to sign a hold harmless agreement, and you lost it. And let me finish. I let you talk up there, now let me finish. So that is basically what we do all the time. Anytime we go on
I
anybody's
never
property,
did it before.
that's what we always do, okay? So I don't know.
Go
you know,
ahead. I'm sorry.
okay.
The button in, okay? Go ahead.
We asked you to sign a hold harmless agreement. You refused to do so, and you got very agitated and upset. Okay, then I got a phone call from your son, and that conversation was going on. But before I finish up with that, we were actually trying to work with you.
You what?
We were actually trying to work with you to determine if your claim was legitimate or not, and we were looking at it, and we were going to bring our engineer in, and that's the time you decided not to sign the hold harmless agreement. And then I had a conversation with your son, and he threatened litigation. And once you threaten, wait, let me just finish. I'll give you a chance to talk. Once you threaten litigation, all communication stops, okay? Because then it gets turned over to our attorneys, and we were waiting for papers to be served. Because your son made that threat.
Sir,
Go ahead, speak.
I never made that threat. What I said.
Well, I'm sorry to disagree with you, but you did.
That man, please. Mayor Quinlan, I never made that statement that I was
Well,
going to
could I-
take it to litigation. What I did say is we were going to take another avenue. That's what I said.
I
It's
interpreted
documented.
that. I interpreted that as
You
litigation.
interpret it, that's not what I said.
All right.
That's wrong, all right? So we take another avenue. We decided to let it go. That's what we decided to do, all right?
Okay, speak into the mic,
But-
though.
I'm sorry. So we decided to let it go. But you know what? After bonding him out, and my father wanted to sell the house, he didn't think it was a great idea, and he wanted to pursue it. So we decided to take this avenue. And instead, this gentleman over here, all right, has paid his taxes for 55 years. And it's no, sir,
That has nothing to do.
it has a lot to do
No,
with
it- no, it
He's
doesn't.
a 25-year veteran of the military.
I'm not arguing that point.
All right. All he's asking is you changed his driveway 20 feet up into his property line. He's trying to rectify that. And you want him to sign a hold and release form for something that he had there was no issues before. And now there's an issue. Why should you're accepting responsibilities if you're saying that this hold and release is to be signed?
No, actually, you're interpreting that totally wrong.
Well, maybe I am, because you know what? I'm not a politician, I'm not a lawyer, I don't know. But all I'm saying is, he was minding his own business, you altered his driveway, he's got a problem. Why does he have to sign a hold and release?
Because that is our policy.
And then if it doesn't work, where does he
No,
stand?
no, the hold and harmless is that if we go on your property and something else happens, we're not responsible.
Okay,
Mayor,
you
can
made
I-
an assumption to me because of my comment, which is written. By the way, I wrote that with a phone, so I'll never do that again. Grammatically, that was horrible. But I didn't say litigation, it's another avenue, all right? You made an assumption and you shut down the whole process.
That's right.
Okay, all right. I think that you owe the man something. All right, you said to me that you were going to have a civil engineer come over. You never did that.
Yes, he did.
You did?
Wait a minute. No,
Mike,
no,
Mike,
listen, sir, we're going to shut this down. Sir,
Dad,
you're
Dad,
barking
let me-
up the wrong tree, all right?
I'm barking at you and him.
well, let me
Okay.
can I at least
Both of us are guilty. You covered up. You made me look like a jerk because when
What's your name, sir?
Dan Marshall.
Dale?
Dan.
Dan. Dan, if you want to make progress in this, I have a suggestion. I'm talking to Dan, okay?
I'm talking to you.
Dad, yeah. Just
Mike,
let him
Mike,
finish.
let me
him
talk. Can I
finish.
talk?
So nothing's
All
gonna
right.
get resolved.
All right, I'm done.
5 years is enough.
All right.
Wake up. Stop drinking your water as if you're so Mr. Cool. You're not cool. You sent an engineer over here who was a fool. The guy was not even an engineer. Such sent him over to me. He was waiting for me until I got home. And I went down to see him. He didn't look like an engineer, but I don't know how engineers look, but he says,
Look like me.
talk, Steve Engineer. I says, yeah. He says, go in and have a beer. So the next day I went to see Such,
Suts.
and keeps jerking it off. Don't do that smile at me, because you did that game with me before. When I tried to plead with you to fix the road. I went to Such, and Such told me, oh, I'll send you a report on the engineer, because I asked him. He said, my secretary will send you a report. No report was sent. No report. You played me for a fool.
Dad, it's
The
not,
three of you, Such, you, and you, played me for a fool. You don't, even when Palermo called you this summer, July, you didn't even come over. I'll take care of it, Frank. I'll take care. Wait for him. That was this summer. I'm still waiting for him. He never
Can I have the opportunity to speak?
Sure.
Possibly?
Why not?
Okay. So going back, the reason the pipe was removed, because the pipe was actually bent in the middle.
okay.
So it did this, which means water's not going to flow through a pipe like that at
I
all.
was 45
No,
years old.
just let me respond to all the negative comments that have been made. Actually, Dan, me and you were actually having civil conversation before whatever happened when all lines of communication went down. I did speak to Mr. Marshall about removing the pipe because the pipe was completely filled with silt. It served no purpose whatsoever.
brand new pipe.
It wasn't.
Put it in, Don.
It's not worth it.
Don't. Nothing's good.
Joe, you were allowed the opportunity to speak. Let me just speak. Well, okay. Well, so the pipe was completely filled with silt. It had a bend in the middle, which means it serves absolutely no purpose whatsoever. I did speak to Joe and Jay's. Yes, we did have that conversation. I let him know that we were going to remove that pipe because the house across the street was getting some water. I thought that would alleviate the situation by dropping the road and putting some crown back into the road, which it has resolved that issue. I did the driveway. We did it. I said, Joe, are you happy with this? He goes, yeah, it looks good so far. Let me finish, Joe. He said it looked good. 2 months later, fast forward 2 months later, he came back and said, Rob, I have cars that are bottoming out. I came back up. I said, Joe, in order for me to see if I can get the bottoming out going fixed, I'm going to have to cut back into your driveway a little further. Maybe we can make an even transition from the road to up your driveway. He said, no problem. We came back, ripped out all the brand new blacktop that we put in there, $3,000 worth, and started over. Again, I said, Joe, are you happy with the way this turned out this time? He said, absolutely. Fast forward another year, Joe comes back to my office. This is when I think you got involved, and me and you were having conversation, which I thought was going positively. We were able to discuss it in a mature manner. Joe, every time I came up to you, you called me derogatory names. When Mr. Caruso was there, you called me derogatory names because I remember I was there with Mr. Caruso. Let me finish. And Mr. Caruso said,
What a setup.
it's not a setup, Joe.
You know how I went along with you and him?
So I have a letter right here in my email, right here,
Yeah, you can show that. I got a phone like that too.
dated
All right, don't give me this.
August 15th, 2017 from Fusco Engineering stating that your driveway was not a problem. Now, right before that, Art Tabasco come and pave your driveway.
That's right.
Right after Art Tabasco paved your driveway, you asked me to rip it back up again.
And guess what he said to me? He says, I'll talk to Rob.
He did.
And he said, put an apron on there and put it strictly in the cabin so those giant
He did.
snow plows don't rip up your driveway.
He did, Joe. And what I allowed him to do, which is actually illegal, I allowed him to come 24 inches out into the road to extend your driveway out into the road. Your driveway comes 24 inches out into the road.
I told him I was going to take money out of my own pocket to pay him to fix the road because you guys didn't do it. And I would have paid out of my own pocket. I'm
Okay.
paying 3 taxes as it is. You got the village, you got the school, you got the library, you got all these things. Hey, I'm one person.
I understand.
I didn't create this problem. You guys started the problem. You ripped the driveway. You started this problem, not I. And then you said to me, sign a form. Form for what? I didn't do it.
I can't
You
talk.
guys did it.
I can't talk on behalf of Mayor Queen. I can only talk on behalf of myself, Joe. So, wait. Let me finish, because
Well, let me finish what? Go ahead.
so Frank did send me a letter dated August 7th. August 7th. He sent me a letter saying that Joe came to his office upset. I came to your house August 12th, which was a Monday, knocked on your door, and no one was home.
I'm hard of hearing too.
Okay, so then when you make accusations that I didn't come up after Frank sent the letter, that's inaccurate.
You didn't come up. If you would have come up, you would have left a note or called me on the phone. You never did.
So Dan, moving forward, if we want to try to come to some resolution on this, which will not include ripping out the driveway, but if we want to come to some resolution, I don't want to rip out a driveway you just spent 10 grand to have put in. I think that's ridiculous. And then I let the contractor, because he did contact me to ask me if it was okay, because he knows it's illegal. Art knew it was illegal to extend the driveway out that far in the road. I was like, whatever would work for that driveway to make it consistent. Our engineer came after the driveway was paved and said that is one consistent grade all the way up the driveway. Consistent. But that's the problem. Is like every time I've come to look at the driveway, there's not one scrape mark that would resemble a scraping or bottoming out. There's one from when the chipper backed up your driveway to cut a tree. That was the only one that was there.
If I back up or go up that driveway, if I anticipate bottoming out and I go up slow, I don't bottom out.
Okay.
But if I go up the driveway, I will bottom out.
Okay.
How do I get up there?
Like I said, Joe. Like I said,
Can I talk now? You like to talk, let me talk. You don't talk to me too much. You don't even call me. Now you're talking. I have an SUV. I told you that.
I know you have an SUV, Joe.
You probably forgot that too.
Nope.
I have an SUV. I can get up there, but I have to go up the road sideways. It's very
Sideways.
simple. You should have never lowered that road because it was going to, and you only did it in front of my property.
That's not true.
Not in front of,
That's not accurate.
on the left or on the right.
It actually goes all the way down to
It
the.
goes up to them, but not to their driveway.
It goes all the way down to the Liberatory residence,
Had a problem.
All right,
which is funny.
we're not getting anywhere here tonight.
No, we're not.
Okay?
Yes, they are with the state.
No, we're not. We're not getting anywhere.
So moving forward, Dan, if you would like to have a conversation after the meeting, I'll certainly speak to you, and maybe we can come up with some happy resolution. But I will not stand up there and be belittled anymore. That's not going to happen.
We can walk out here just that you guys can maybe meet halfway or
I did come up on August 12th to take a look. That's all I can do. I can just come up, but I can't have a cordial conversation. I need to have you there.
May I say something?
that's fine.
May I say something?
Sure.
We don't have to talk all this language nonsense. Here's the simple fact. My driveway was lowered. The road was lowered. Build it up and take that bothering me out of cars. Very simple. It's not a major job. It's not a complete major job. You guys have fancy trucks and all this stuff. Just fix the driveway. If you want money from me, I'll pay you. But have it fixed.
Well,
Have it fixed.
maybe there's a halfway point.
Everybody's just.
All right,
I think we've taken up enough of the meeting's time. If you'd like to discuss this afterwards, I'll certainly stay afterwards to discuss it.
Gentlemen, ladies, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, have a good night. Okay.
I'll meet you outside. I'll come right out there now. Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I don't have any comment anyway.
Do what I have to do. 84 years old, I don't need this nonsense. I can't even stand anymore. And you guys play games with me? Forget it. Have a good day.
You too. Anybody else in the second row? Anybody in the third row? Anybody over there interested in speaking? No?
They're all over the corner road.
Okay, we'll go to board member comment. Andrew?
All right, just focusing on something probably a bit more positive after the last 15 minutes or so. So I wrote a statement, or I had somebody write a statement for me. How's that sound? There really are no awards for a kid that has invisible disabilities, has meltdowns, has poor impulse control, or is disruptive. But that kid is working so hard every minute, just trying to belong to a community. And those kids are doing their best, but some moments their best is downright awful. Nope. There are no rewards for a kid that is in anguish, remorse, guilt, sadness, loneliness, confusion, or fear over their behaviors, because people don't celebrate that. But some of these kids, or some of those kids, work so hard every day just to be present, while the rest of us take it for granted that we can perform activities of daily living without any drama. There does need to be more of that, kindness, just because. Celebrating an individual in the community that is easily overlooked, dismissed, or even shunned. I firmly believe this, and I believe this is kind of like the first step for this community. So at this time, I'd like to call up a very large supporter of the Jacomazza and Gomez team during our campaign, and we are equally a huge fan of his as well. So Nicholas Matola, why don't you come up here? I have a certificate for you that the mayor and the rest of the village board, so on behalf of them, I want to thank you.
Congratulations, go Yankees.
I'll help you picture out.
You want me to? I'm trying to hide my stomach.
Yeah, that's not gonna help. We need a large desk.
Excuse me, give me one.
Even it out.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
I like that speech.
Andrew, you have anything else?
He's talking to you.
Just say no.
Just say no, okay. Oh, wait. Congratulations to the Woodbury Community Association, who celebrated their 100th anniversary. 100 years here in Woodbury. Could you imagine? Thank you. It's almost as long as Neil Krause. Yeah.
He was one of the founders. Hey, Sus, you got anything?
Just thank you all for coming out. and
Rough
get home
crowd.
safe.
Tom?
No comment. Thank you.
Tim?
Just a statement. Yesterday, I met with Assemblyman Schmidt to discuss our water and sewer issues here in Woodbury. And today he had a press conference that I attended and spoke at. He had been appointed to the New York State Assembly Minority Task Force on Water Quality. So I just want to read a brief statement that is what I had said today at that press conference. So first, I congratulated Assemblyman Schmidt for his appointment to this critical task force. It's a huge issue for our area. I think it's a great example of state and local governments working together to solve really important issues. In the village of Woodbury, water supply and sewer capacity are two of the biggest services that we provide to our residents. Very important stuff. Over the past 10 years that I've been on the village board, we've been doing a lot to add additional wells, replace underperforming wells, and purchase additional sewage capacity. But with the rate of development in Woodbury over the past couple of years especially, we're deeply concerned about our water and sewer supplies. We're also concerned that with neighboring communities like KJ drawing from the Mountain View well, permitted 680,000 gallons per day, that could be exceeded without any oversight and without anybody really knowing about it. So the mayor had instituted some controls adjacent to that site by monitoring other wells and by monitoring the Woodbury Creek. But by the time we see something like that happening, it might be too late to do anything about it, and we'd be in a situation that Monroe is facing right now, at least a small neighborhood in Monroe, where they have to truck water in because their wells are dry. So concerning sewage capacity, the mayor and I had attended a meeting last week of the county legislature during which Delaware Engineering, who's the county's engineering firm, presented their options to the legislature for adding capacity to sewage in Orange County. And there's quite a few different, there are 4 different options that they're going to pick and choose from, and there will be a public hearing on those options at some point in the near future. And I know I'm going to be attending. Nope. Okay. So I look forward to testifying at the Assemblyman's hearing that he's going to be having on the 30th later this month. And I'm going to be addressing a lot of these issues in more detail and in more depth. But I just wanted to take this opportunity to let everybody know what's going on. So thank you.
Thank you. I just want to clarify one thing that Tim said. The impact to the sewage is, the development is county-wide, really, in southern Orange County. It's not just Woodbury. Most of the development impacting the sewage plant is not in Woodbury. But water is a different story. Jesse, you have anything? You want to add anything to that?
I'm good.
You're good? All right, with that, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn, and I want to just thank everybody for coming out this evening, and I hope everybody, we will have another meeting before Halloween, so I wish everybody happy Halloween then. And go Yankees, right? Okay. All right, motion to adjourn?
Make the motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you and good night.